You made me this way.
Are you literally the voice of his character now?
Why can't I die?
Alright, that's fucking creepy. I would hate for one of my characters to say that to me. So we're back. Christmas Court. I know we kind of skipped over it. I actually forgot to do it. I was kind of rushing to get us to the break. The winter is difficult with food shortages due to payments of tribute. The mood is grim and despondent, but there is some cheer as you have marked a blow for justice. In the spring of 498, your knights return from their outing with Sir Alan. To both Sir Marcus and Sir Aedwald, they report that Sir Alan is not responsible for the assaults on women at places that he has visited. It would appear that someone in their entourage, they cannot figure out who, but someone is responsible. However, he being Sir Alan, has been accounted for at all times during these incidents. However, when they took that manor from Sir Benham? Yes, Sir Benham. Sir Benham has sworn that he will retake the manor and repaint the lines between Salisbury and Silchester red with blood.
Silchester.
Yep. So, 498, as we go into it, the Countess... You okay, Anosh?
Yeah, I think we were breaking up or something. I thought you paused over there.
I did. Okay.
Yeah. So I was randomly yelling out Silchester.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The Countess Alan's court is held at Sarum. In attendance is Prince Selin of Sussex, Prince Asquine of Essex, and Prince Sinric of Wessex. And there are two women outside on a familiar-looking stone bench. There's construction going on all around the bench, as like men without shirts on with huge muscles are like lifting stuff to put walls in place around the city. And one of them looks at the other and says, "Don't you think matters are just getting worse?" "Well, I'll say that with all these Saxons showing up, there won't be a man shortage soon." And a woman walks by with like a bonnet on and says, "Listen, darlings, it can't be good next year if they all have taken the cattle. Let me tell you something. We can't take his forever. We have to do something." But isn't it better than being burned out and besieged? Look at those men there. If their men ever came over these walls, we'll all have Saxon bastards next spring. There are two messengers from your message posts throughout the kingdom of Salisbury. The Countess is in attendance, as are the three Aethelings. You have heard a number of extra rumors as well, if you'd like to roll intrigue.
Sure.
Also in attendance, I think, is Sir Alan, who's still there, cockstrutting around, talking about how he has taken back that manor on the border.
Yeah, well, no success there.
So we go.
Yeah. Aedwald, you tried to roll for intrigue. And I think when you do, your new wife is like, "Oh, why are you talking to that young woman over there? Sir Edward, aren't you supposed to be paying attention to me? Hello? Are you listening?"
He will turn around. "Yes, dear."
So she looks kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but slightly Frencher. And she definitely doesn't bathe very often. Colleen, you're new to this intrigue thing, and when you try to get some information out of the serving girls, they spend most of their time, like, checking out your muscles, and they're like, "Sir Colleen, how have I not seen you here in the castle before? What large pectoral muscles you have. Have you been working out?"
Yes, I worked out in Oblivion. That is my life before.
We do training and practice.
Sir Marcus, you are about to get some information out of somebody when Jermaine the Dragon comes over and slaps you on the back and says, "Sir Marcus! We had a good duel last year. Are you ready to do it again? I've got my tree out back."
Marcus says, I would be delighted to duel you anytime.
Excellent. He
You
picks
have-
you up like someone picking up a cat on the scruff of the neck. It's like, let's do it now.
Now is not the time. It would not be appropriate.
Wow, you're a liar.
He's
though.
like, okay. He drops you. He's like, so you say you can duel anytime, but not now because it's not inappropriate. Ah, English knights, you never say what you mean. You should do what you say and say what you do. One thing leads to another. Oh, you're putting points towards siege, huh? Okay. Fortunately, Sir Sasha, you learn one thing. So, it's a serving woman who looks suspiciously like the bread woman you stopped on the road. I figure that in this show we just reuse actresses. She says, "Sir, would you like some bread?"
Yes, now is the time and place for it.
Ah, of course. And then she leans. This is so her character's not supposed to be the same person. Maybe she's wearing slightly different clothing, but she leans in and says, "These Saxons don't like each other, you know. Their comments to each other are very sarcastic, and they report on each other's behavior in secret to the Countess. They do not communicate to each other with any ease. I hope you can put this information to use, Sir Sasha." Then she like kisses you on the forehead and says, "Thank you for protecting the pagans."
I protect everybody.
Okay. So what would you guys want to do?
Just mention this little tidbit to Sir Aidwald, not to Sir Marcus. And Colleen is new, so I don't really know him. But just mention about how the Saxons are actually speaking about each other to the Countess. It's kind of peculiar. Very
Noteworthy.
ununified.
Well, hopefully that means that we can stave off the raids again this year.
Okay.
I'll
What
just
do you want to do?
I'll just take part in the feast near the Countess.
Okay. Near the Ellen.
Sorry.
Countess DeGeneres, of course. She stands up on the table and starts hopping up and down.
Countess, calm yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you sit next to her, as is your right, as the leading knight of the county. And she gestures with her left hand and says, "Sir Aidwald, the virtuous, I have heard that Father Dewey has bethed you with the cloak. Will you not sit at my left hand and offer me counsel?"
I would be honored, milady.
"And who is this new knight in my court?" Sir Colleen, is it?
Yep.
What do you do here now? Have you come to offer perhaps the ritual songs of your family? Their compositions and singing?
I don't know. I just hope to serve you as well as I can, lady.
Are you still working on your character sheet?
No, I finished it, but there's nothing really special.
Okay, alright. He says, I understand. You don't want to share your secrets out in the open. I know that some knights are shy and believe that singing and writing songs is not for them, but do not fear. A new wave of French haute couture is on its way. Soon, singing and dancing will be all the rage throughout Salisbury. So while you guys are standing around talking, a man comes in. He is dressed very strangely. We would recognize him as clearly being some form of Arabic. And he's got like a
Mr. Gom Jabbar?
turban with like oh, you finally caught that. Yeah, you did say you got the Dune reference. Yeah. He's got like a big ruby gem in the middle that's clearly very expensive, and he's got parachute pants on. And then he comes in drinking with like two women on his shoulders, and he's like, "Ah, excellent. It is I, Farouk Abdul Gomjabar, Armenian warrior of Persia and tradesman extraordinaire, Countess, I wish to speak of you of my Mediterranean trade routes. You see, my ships are on their way now, and they will give you great supplies, so you will no longer need these Saxon scums to supply you. However, in exchange, I will need land here. I wish to be knighted, but not to serve you directly. You see, I am a prince back in my land, and it would not do for me to go back to my 52 cousins and tell them, oh, I serve a woman. No, you must give me one of your manors and knight me, and let me be liege lord unto myself. What say you? And the Countess is just kind of doing this the whole time. And then straightens up and says, Sir Adewald, Sir Sasha, your counsel, please.
Yes.
Oof.
Counseling her, or
Yes.
It is.
we just went to war over this whole bit. If we
Isn't
give in
un-
now, it'd be this. There'd be no reason to the war. Well,
He's an uncouth man. It seems as if perhaps we request proof of his claims before simply knighting him and granting him land. It seems foolhardy to simply grant land and honor to any who parade in and claim to be something.
So she raises an eyebrow and says, is this something we will do then? Offer men who come asking for manors knighthood with no allegiance to us?
It seems unwise. I only counsel that if we can actually gain access to steel and supplies, while the trade may be uncouth, it may be worth it in what it can preserve of the rest of our lands.
not at the cost of making him a knight, just because he doesn't want to be seen allying himself with a woman of any sort, kind of thing like that. I didn't take this wound to the shoulder just to let it be pointless the following year.
Very well. I will fall in line with Sir Sasha's recommendation.
Okay, so
That's
the
not what
Countess
Corin
turns him
died
away and says, Gom Jabbar, if you will not follow through on your word, then you dishonor all the princes of Armenia. You are welcomed for the rest of the feast, but you can leave my castle in the morning. And he starts sputtering and it's like, and starts like saying things in foreign languages, which none of you understand because none of you even took Latin. So yeah, all three
Marcus
of
has-
the. Sorry, what's up?
Marcus has Latin out of all the people, but
Okay,
I don't think-
all right, you've got Latin. All right, but he's not speaking Latin.
Yeah,
He certainly didn't take Persian.
definitely did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the three Atheling princes are all laughing. What would you guys like to do?
Well, perhaps I will go speak with the one associated with King Serdic as sort of
His
the one
son,
we...
Prince Sinric.
Sinric, yes.
Yeah. Okay, you approach Sinric of Wessex, and he is still, as always, a very handsome man, and says, Sir Adewald, I heard that you took a bit of a spill during an intense combat taking a castle. I, too, was injured during the taking of the Isle of Wight. Terrible business there. Apparently someone informed them of our coming arrival. We're currently doing what we can to track down whatever Saxon informers have infiltrated your ranks.
A terrible business, but
Dude, hope you find
I'm
them.
glad to see you well.
And I have heard that your god favors you now. It is strange for one to worship only one, but I suppose he has much power to place in you then.
If the one God has the power, Why would one need others?
He laughs and says, "Ah, my father would disagree heartily with you. Just recently, he too was blessed with the power of the Saxon gods. Now, Woden guides his strikes very clear. He's become very powerful indeed." Yes. He like looks out a window and just like very far off. He's like, "Yes. During the taking of the Isle of Wight, our invasion surely would have been much more dangerous if we had not sacrificed 30 slaves to Woden and gained his power. All of our men grew stronger, and our giants were able to lift bigger trees. Truly, having many gods is a blessing. Even we cannot compete with the Romans, however." He kind of elbows you. He's like, "Oh, those Romans. They have a household god for everything. Their gods they are weak like the weakest wine, watered down so much so." And then he looks at his drink and says, "Perhaps your god is a bit too strong for me, like the ale of 1,000 hops. For me, I prefer the mixed wines of the Saxons." You can tell he's kind of drunk. He's speaking some nonsense.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will be courteous and move on.
Before you leave, he says, "Please remind the Countess, I'm not sure if she understood me earlier. We're requiring triple payments this year."
I will inform her of such.
Marcus is just like, "I'm glad I got that Martin Bailey up." And the
Oh, did you build one then?
So
Yeah.
yeah, I built. What's he? I'll tell you who he's built. The banner sheet. Yeah, a ditch, rampart, and moat, and a palisade.
Okay. You basically assembled your own castle then.
Yeah, I got the stone manor, then
Okay.
stuff around.
Do those individual parts give you glory at the end of the year?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, excellent. Then I don't have to award you any. You got it. Okay.
I think like totally with the stone manor, the ditch, rampart, moat, and palisade, I get 5 a year.
Okay. Yeah, that's about what you should be at.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to do now?
And we'll bring up that little bit.
What was that?
Well, what's
Yeah.
going to happen is, it sounds like you guys don't have anything you want to do, so the Countess is going to
Okay.
call an end to the feast and call you guys into the War Council. So she puts her glass down on the War Council table in the Bailey and just says, "Gentlemen, they want triple tribute this year. We cannot afford to pay Essex, Wessex, and Sussex. Do you recall what Duke Ulfius said last summer about becoming an ally with one of them?"
Nope.
She looks at you sideways and doesn't smile and says, "Sir Colleen, you'll catch up quickly. Don't worry about it."
So Marcus
Here,
says,
why don't we have Sir Sasha go over there and explain everything that's happened?
This'll take a
I
while.
mean, you should never have an alliance with the Saxons. The treacherous.
Thank you, Sasha, for explaining everything to me.
Yes.
All right.
So Marcus, you were saying.
You trusted.
It seems as if they will try and bleed us dry this year. But
No less.
we also cannot survive with 3 different Saxon bands attacking us simultaneously.
Apparently, they don't really like each other that much either, though.
What were the demands from the other Saxons?
They were all asking for triple tribute.
It is my view that we pay them nothing and fight them off when they raid us. We have the outpost set up.
Perhaps our wisest course would be to pay one of them at least, and
Waste his money.
for this year, and so that we may ally with them against the others.
So, the tribute for any manors right now is every level of tribute you pay is £3 per manor you own. So triple tribute means that you'd have to pay £9 from each of your manors.
Oh, so there's
Jesus
just no
Christ.
way we can actually do that. So yeah, we
Well,
have to fight.
Yeah, if you got rich, it would be very difficult and extremely expensive.
It sounds, in that case, I think our only choice is to fight.
The Countess says, "You know, we could ally ourselves with Cedric. He does have a legitimate claim to the throne.
I thought
he
he was
did.
demanding triple tribute.
If we bow ourselves toward him, if we join his vassalage, we will no longer have to pay tribute, but we will be joining in his wars. We would also be supporting his claim as legitimate king of Britain."
I would have Salisbury be an independent county.
Is
She
there
turns
any
towards you, Sir
chance-
Marcus, and says, "Sir Marcus, you have done well in adding defenses to your lands this year. Do you truly believe that with our message network and our smoke screens and our 5 castles now, that we can truly defend against outsiders? Stand alone?"
What I do know is that once we pay and ally ourselves, we will be fighting other people's wars, and it is not my lady that will be commanding us. We will be under someone else's command. My
Though-
loyalty is to you.
Down the
know.
road, it will be for our wars as well.
Though, and I only speak from that place. I will serve my lady and die at your command, but not at the command of some Saxons come. Well, Cedric is, what is he exactly?
He is
He's also-
Botanic.
He's botanic,
He's
yeah.
Botanic, and
But
is king of Essex.
he's the son of the V guy that
Vortigern.
Vortigern.
yeah.
Vortigern.
Yes. Is there any
I
chance
because
that
Dr.
after
Service-
that we might ally with any non-Saxons in the area, Duke Ophius, or perhaps the Countess Ridichan might be willing to ally with us after the efforts we have made on her behalf?
She says, "Ulfius does not have a county of his own. He continues to ride out and seek support to gain a prestigious gathering of British nobles, but he has yet to throw in with any one group. Although he does yet again send me a letter saying that I should throw in with Ale of Essex and his son Esquine. Countess Rudichan has written to me of her problems. Apparently, the aftermath of the assault was disastrous. The peasantry is up in arms. There are numerous problems getting the remaining knights under control. And Oxford was burned during an assault. There's rebuilding to be done there. They only have 2 castles, and they are in no situation to move forward. In fact,
well.
she has announced to me her intentions to make an alliance with King Ale of Essex."
What sort of Christian knights would ally with? Would ally with Saxons?
So she turns to you and says very seriously, "Many Christian knights have allied themselves with Saxons. Or at least they plan to. I have heard that King Idris of Cornwall is hiring, however. Perhaps we should consider an alliance with Cornwall."
Fight for Saxons. Why fight for Saxons when we could fight for ourselves?
Or at least fight for another Christian king?
Allying yourselves with
How
a
would
Saxon doesn't mean you're fighting for Saxons. It just you're fighting for yourself in another way. They still defend
Yes.
your county,
No.
though you have to
how
fight with them.
what are our prospects if we ally with?
If you truly
King
believe that,
Idris.
sir, you are a fool, he says to Sasha.
Coming from the man who wants to burn every non-Christian at a stake.
I never said. You misrepresent my words. I've never threatened the lives of a non-Christian.
Yeah, you
He
have
actually hasn't
repeatedly.
threatened their lives.
Several times.
We haven't threatened their lives.
So
They're their livelihoods.
Literally their lives. You said that people should
Adewald
convert
is
to
just going
Christianity
to
and we
try
should
and
encourage that.
quiet
But he's not
down
actually
Sir
killed the
Marcus,
non-tech.
and he will turn to
Good.
the Countess Ellen and try and inquire further on that comment about the King of Cornwall.
She says, yes. Haven't you heard? Everyone was speaking about it in the feast hall. There's war in Devon. King Idris of Cornwall is hiring, and so is Earl Urban of Devon. There are many places we could dispatch our knights to. If they were willing to go far afield for money, we could gain vital funds.
Marcus will suggest, let us raid and hire forces so that we may better protect ourselves. We must seek to gain strength, not to ally with our enemies. This year they demand triple tribute. Next year, what shall it rise to?
I'm
Okay.
not saying that we shouldn't reject that kind of.
She says,
Allying with them
looking
is good.
down, she looks down and just goes, there is one more offer I have not told you of, that I have been considering for some time. It may allow us to end certain conflicts and increase the power of Salisbury as a whole and centralize us. My old suitor, Sir Blaines, the steward of Levcomagus, the Black Knight, has offered to ally what remains of Silchester under his control with me if we were to marry. He would give me full command of both counties, as it were.
That is a perfectly respectable option.
Milady, I know not of... It is, of course, your choice in the matter, and I know not what your views on the match are, but I knew that my brother interacted with Sir Blaines and that found him an honorable man, and of the potential matches and of our potential overlords, I suspect he is the one most likely to allow Sir Robert to survive to the age of adulthood.
So she kind of looks down at her fingernails on her hands and just goes, so you agree that this is something that should be considered then?
Only if you... It is a valuable possibility, milady, but only if you believe it is something that you are willing to live with.
Marcus will stand up, sounding excited when she presents it, saying, a good offer, a great offer. Think you not, my lady?
So
I don't see
Sasha,
it as a bad possibility.
I see. It would
Though,
require
again, I don't
funds. We are already stretched to the limit with finishing the walls of both the city and the castle. To extend our message network into at least a quarter of Silchester, and then to bring them into the fold, to set up new walls, new gates. I don't know that we have that kind of money.
What funds do we require, my lady?
She says, any. We have no funds now. The price of setting up that message network has basically bankrupted us.
Then
And
we shall
since we
raid.
are not allying ourselves with Farouk Bom Jabbar, we have nothing.
Was
Then let
my
us-
donation this winter not sufficient for...
It was. The walls got fixed, but that's it. I mean, like, you guys have tapped everything out, preparing yourselves militarily.
If necessary, I can donate a further £10.
She smiles and says, the £10 would be welcome greatly, but would only go so far as to setting up post in Silchester. Still, I'm sure they might have some funds to divert towards this. I will think on it further. We have news. A new quest has been issued by Merlin the Magician. Merlin needs a few hardy guards to see him safely to Dorchester in Dorset, where he will take a
Merlin?
ship to the continent. I don't know if you'd like to do it yourself or send some other knights or squires, perhaps, or maybe intercept him. There are rumors that he is being pursued by Saxon magicians and English knights alike.
Do you mind if I step outside?
She says, Sir Sasha, is there an issue?
I just need a breath of fresh air, is all.
Okay. Yeah,
Truly?
you step
Is,
outside
Merlin?
into the cold English night where there's... Oh, you actually have to... you actually have to step away from the keyboard. Yeah, so we see him, like, step out, and he's like... in, like, the cold, misty castle interior.
Are you real? Are you? Is this true, milady? The great Merlin, the magician, seeks help.
Yes, he does. Often I have heard that he has sought help from knights. I believe from time to time he tests them. A while ago he had tested a band of Salisbury knights. I think he found them to be both quite to his liking and to his downfall. It's a very complex tale.
I must say I am intrigued by the quest. If nothing else, it will allow me to inquire personally on why he placed my brother in such a position. But
I personally would love to help the great Merlin.
I would think we should seek a quest which would financially strengthen the position of Salisbury. Perhaps even go raiding this year.
She says, and where would we raid then? Whom would we make enemies of Salisbury?
well,
have
the
enemies
Saxons
aplenty.
already promised to be our enemies.
But which Saxons? There are so many to choose from. She gestures toward the map table where, you know, like, since you said you're not going to pay tribute to Wessex anymore, she's, like, turning them from, like, white markers to red. She gestures to Wessex, Essex, and Sussex.
Well, then we have the pick. Let
Now,
us start
perhaps the
where we
ones
may.
that have already raided us before, that they
Yes.
are due a repayment.
I agree to that.
Or I suggest the wealthiest of them.
I would suggest the ones that have wronged us the most.
So it sounds like you want to hit Essex.
Sounds like it.
The Countess says, very well. The only way is Essex. Well, I was hoping for something there. Alright.
Yep,
Get
Marcus is like,
nothing.
Marcus' smile spreads across Marcus's face. Like he's very glad to finally be fucking killing some Saxons.
Hurrah!
What's your hate, Saxons?
Mine is personally 4.
Okay, good.
Love those guys.
Worse than Dalvin.
Okay. So Countess Ellen says, are you sure you would dispatch no one to help Merlin then?
I was interested in going
I
to see
personally
Merlin.
would. Well, if Merlin needs our help, I say we should just go help him.
I wish to
Are our memories
assist him,
so
but I also wish to inquire of his conduct towards my brother. I would appreciate the opportunity to both assist him and also receive an explanation.
Your
Have
brother
we also-
spoke highly of Merlin before Merlin backstabbed us.
That's why I wish an explanation from
The
him.
salt is real now that you're back in the room. Countess Ellen turns toward Sir Sasha and says, Sir Sasha, would you advise against going on this journey? Taking this quest?
What exactly is it that Merlin seeks to gain?
Merlin seeks to gain escort to a coastal city so that he can get passage to the continent.
He's not someone necessarily that you'd want to have an enemy, but to help him, none of my knights will be doing so.
So do the rest of you want to go on a quest without Sir Sasha?
No, Marcus won't go to help Merlin either.
Okay.
Aidwald would really like to, but sounds like no
You
one
want
else.
to make plans for raiding then?
Yeah. Let's go raiding.
All right, raiding it is, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, out of character,
Alright.
I'd really want to help Merlin because it'd be fucking awesome.
Okay, I was just typing that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, in character, I just can't do it. That's the fucking... Like,
We
I
have
don't
different
know.
reasons for not being able
Why
to do
not?
it.
Because
Really
they hate him.
backstab my
Were you
companions,
even
almost got
around
us
then?
killed. I took my
He
companion's
was
word
around.
saying he was trustworthy, and then he took that
Sasha
word and
is the one who.
destroyed it.
No, but
Was around.
Marcus. Marcus isn't.
Yeah, but Marcus hates non-Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he betrayed his brother, so I mean... And, yeah, so for him, it's like, see, Robert is a fool for having trusted Merlin.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we can't send knights to support him, but none of my knights will go.
Okay, let's do it this way. Suppose we want to do it, we do it to try and find the heir.
So
That's how we
I
go to
would
Merlin.
like
That
to-
could be good.
I would propose. So Aidwald will speak up. He wants an explanation about what his contact is, with his brother, and also by doing this, we might be able to find information about the lost heir.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good.
So
Because
that's
I
a good
think
enough
we should,
reason
like,
for you guys to overcome your own issues.
Yeah. I think because just because our in-character characters might not do something, I think it's silly that we don't do something we would want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You know.
think we rely on that.
We should just find some fuzzy justification, because at the end of the day,
Okay.
the point is to play the game.
Yeah,
All right.
do it.
You ride then for Dorchester in Dorset. You meet with Merlin. He's just like, yes, I see. Sir Sasha, good to see you again.
Not very good to see you again.
And he says, oh, yes, I see that your aura is clouded. Well, not much I can do about that. Now, where is it? Ah, yes, of course. My hat. Well, are you boys ready to go on an adventure of a lifetime?
Sure am, boss.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
I'm Colleen, a new knight in this realm.
Ah, I see. Yes, a new knight. Makes sense. Ah, well, it'll be fine. Do any of you have any ramifications or anything you'd like to ask before we get on this wonderful journey where nothing bad will happen?
Wow,
something
an
bad.
ominous way to say that.
Why would you betray our brother and steal the heir?
I didn't betray anybody. You must be misremembering things.
Misremembering things. They hear the words of those that came before them as it's their brothers that you betrayed. But me, I did not misremember, as I took their word, trusted that you were an honorable and trustworthy man, and then I found myself nearly killed in court because I did so.
I knew you were going to be fine.
May I ask why you felt the need to take the heir?
Yes, you can ask.
Will you answer?
I'll tell you what. If you can get me to the port, I'll tell you.
Very
No roundabout answers or anything.
Oh,
More questions.
what do you think I am? Some sort of fairy? You can negotiate a contract with me? Very well. I, Merlin, solemnly swear on my oath as Archdruid of Britain that if you get me to the port in my waiting ship, I will tell you, in truth and immediately, the answer to the question of which you have asked as to why I needed to take the air.
Very well. I will take you at your word, sir.
So he rides with you for a few days, and it's not unpleasant, although he does ominously say a couple, premonition type things towards each of you. And then he, just sitting on the fire one night, he says, "All right, spit it out." You know, I
What?
can see the future. I know what question you're going to ask me. You might as well just get it over with.
Why did we have already asked you the question? Why did
No,
you take
you
the-
asked me one question, but you came here looking for the answer to another question. Do you really care about why I took that boy, or was there something else you wanted to know about?
Where did you take him?
Ah, see, that's the question you should have asked. But I'm not going to answer that one.
Then why did you ask us to,
Well, I
That's
just thought
the
we
truth.
should get it out of the way. I wouldn't want you to be surprised when we got to the end. I'm rarely surprised. It comes with knowing what's going to happen. Just felt you should know the same. He takes out like a deck of tarot cards and begins shuffling them back and forth. He's like, anyone want their fortune told?
I will trust in whatever
Yes,
path
in
God
God,
has
I've
laid out.
heard. Very fancy cape you're wearing. Yeah. It'll protect you well. God does watch after his children. I know a bit of the Christian magics myself. Would you like to see?
Very well.
So he's like, well, perhaps you have a glass of water for me then.
I have a canteen, and I'll pour some into whatever container.
Cup.
No, he takes a canteen from you and he knocks on it 3 times. He's like, good as new.
Take a sip.
Yeah, it's wine.
Yeah, figured.
He looks at you and goes, ooh, magic. You know, I feel like there's another question you should be asking me. You haven't.
There is another boy whose whereabouts we seek.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Uther's the son of, what is Prince Maddox's son?
Prince Maddox's son, yes. I do know where he is.
Are you willing to disclose it?
Oh, yes. I can tell you where he is right now. He's in the Forest Savage with the fairies. Oh, I see your faces. Don't know much about the fairies, huh?
I've encountered them a few times.
Ah, yes, I'm sure you have. I see the stink of them all over you. Well, next time you go there, you should bring bread and iron. Will there be a next time, Sir Sasha? Or has that woman seen the best of you?
She didn't even let me see my mother's grave.
Yeah, he starts smelling around you and says, not birch, but maybe wheat? Yes, yes. Yes. Interesting. Well, I think one day you might see Maddox heir. But even if you were to look at him now, you would not recognize him. I could produce him, and you would see only what you wanted to see. Think one day perhaps you'll understand. Ah.
Adwell's just confused, so he's just kind of staring at him with a puzzling look.
Sasha's got a mix of confusion, sadness, and anger.
Sir Sasha, what can I do to assuage your guilt over the situation? I would like to point out that I had nothing to do with any of that. What I did was in defense of Britain. That's all I'll say on the matter now, but in response to what you want to ask, I didn't betray any of you. Simply asked for your help, and you helped me. And in the end, you were honored for it. You became glorious knights. None of you had anything terrible happen to you. No, but if I had been caught, they surely would have ripped me limb from limb.
I'll wait
Well-
for the day to come that your treatment of the boy becomes something that was worth defending.
Oh, well,
And what of the death of all the knights? Had you not betrayed them, were you still there with King Luther? Perhaps the poisoning would not have happened. We would not have sunk into the spirit of anarchy.
He kind of like leans back and tries to wrap his arm around Sir Marcus. He says, "You know, Marcus, there's something you should know. I was never going to be able to stop that. Way too powerful. But critical point in the timeline, you understand. Everything pivoted around it. No, I had to make sure I wasn't there. Listen, time is like a fractured web, and glasses and mirrors. I can't explain it to you.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
No, none of that nonsense garbage. No. You believe time travels like a straight arrow, but you've already traveled to the fairy realm, so you have to know that it doesn't. Time travels in strange ways. Certain things have to happen if other things are to happen, and I need to make sure certain things do happen in order to make sure all of the things I need happen. You get that, right? Just know that I'm looking out for the best of Britain.
I'm just gonna say you're a fucking awesome Merlin, Arthur.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well,
Marcus is completely confused.
Listen, Marcus, don't worry about it. There's something you should know. In the end, I'm going to be locked up in a crystal cave for years and tortured to death by my former lover, so no problems. I'll get my comeuppance one day, don't worry about it. I'll pay the price for whatever crimes I've committed.
How do you know this and have no will to stop it?
But if I want the things I want to have happen, I have to pay the price.
Seems like a heavy price for a roll in the hay.
He's like, a roll in the hay, you say? Perhaps, or maybe the rightful king of Britain is certainly worth it. Let me ask you, Sir Aedwald, would a story worthy of the ages be worth a roll in the hay? Perhaps my imprisonment is worth a legend that will keep men warm on cold nights, give hope to those who have no hope, and to bring honor to all. Would those be worth the price, you think? Would you pay it? Huh? I think he starts poking you in the chest. Would you, with your fancy cape, would you pay the price of God?
If that is what he demands of me, yes.
Yes. And so you might understand why I must do what I have to.
So, he nods his head, but in a much friendlier manner than at the beginning of this.
He says, excellent, and now that we're all good friends, you should probably pick your weapons up. We're about to be attacked.
Alright, up sword.
Damn it.
So you hear a noise that's like, ow! Ow, 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 ow!
Wolves?
Can you make a fairy lore check?
Yep.
We could fail a fairy lore check.
Sasha's actually pretty good.
Oh,
at it.
jeez.
I told you I know Faye. I've been around.
What's it with the one? Oh, nope.
Colleen, no, you know Faye. You do. You think you do.
I think I just accidentally started disbelieving in Merlin.
Did everyone fail horribly? Yeah, you guys all just think
horribly.
it's Colleen. You think it's just a normal like wolfhound, right? Like it just sounds like a dog. To the rest of you, it sounds like wolves. Sir Marcus, do you have fairy lore?
I really doubt Marcus would.
Yeah, I'm pretty he has like terrible fairy lore. I think 1 or whatever the basic is.
Okay.
Yep, 1.
No, he's got fairy lore 10. I don't know why he has fairy
What?
lore 10.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
well, you decide to be
What?